guys, it's Rose. Welcome back to Journals in Time, and welcome if you're new. So, I am working on some ephemera for my Irish journal, and I just thought I would bring you guys along. So I'm going to be making some stained glass window pieces. But I also want to talk to you guys about ephemera in general. So while I'm making this, I can chat away to you. So essentially what I'm doing with these, I just want to make frames for my stained glass pieces. These are some stained glass pieces that let me turn off my light there for a second. That's going to be an issue for this video. So I actually went and designed these pieces myself. I got the artwork and I filled it in and I made the actual window around it, things like that. So that's how they look. And I'm going to be doing two different things with these. So these bigger ones, I want to make some frames for them essentially. And the small one like this, I have one already in the journal. I will show you in a while. I'm going to be putting this in as kind of a tip in. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to be making the frame for this. I'm going to be using this card. It is actually paper. It's that same paper that I used to make the photo booklet on the front of the journal. I want to use it a little bit throughout the journal as well, just for some continuity. Okay, so I'm just going to be cutting my piece down to the right size to kind of frame it. I'm going to be cutting a piece out of the center of it here for the piece to show through. And this is printable acetate from Crafter's Companion. The lovely Phyllis Joseph sent me this stuff at Christmas. You might remember me mentioning this in one of my previous videos for the Irish Journal, that I tried to print on it and it hadn't worked. So I got a couple of tips. Phyllis herself actually came back to me with a tip for this, to back this onto some regular paper before putting it through the printer, and it worked perfectly. One or two tips if you are working with this stuff. I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to put my light back on. There we go. One or two tips if you are working with this stuff. It has a rough side and a smooth side. You need to print on the rough side, okay? However, when I was trying to clean off where I had glued it to the page, I happened to get a little drop of water onto the rough side and it kind of got a little bit destroyed, okay? So the coating on the other side does actually come off with water. So there's a piece down here. It's not rough at all because I wiped it down with water, but it does smear quite a lot and you cannot clean that. Well, you possibly can, but if you go out of water, you risk destroying your print. So just a word to the wise, you need to be careful with water if you are working with this stuff. Otherwise, doesn't it look amazing? I love how they came out. They look fabulous. Okay, so that is that. I'm going to get on with cutting this piece down to the right size and things like that. And I will chat to you about ephemera. I want to talk to you guys about ephemera today. As I was going through my Irish journal and working on the ephemera part, I was thinking about how I think about ephemera and what the word ephemera is to me when I'm talking about ephemera. Okay, so originally ephemera is pieces of paper and things like that were designed for one use. They were very ephemeral, like a ticket. You use it once and then it gets thrown in the bin. That's what ephemera is. I think we all know that. Maybe the newbies don't know that, so it's good for them to hear. In the world of junk journaling, we think of ephemera in lots of very different ways. We think of it as those one-off pieces. We think pockets as ephemera. We think of journaling cards as ephemera, things like that. Now, when it comes to original ephemera, and I have some in my Irish journal to show you guys. So, things like this. This is a postcard. It would have been sent once and usually thrown in the bin. Don't know why this one was kept. Love it. So that is ephemera. For me, also, just seeing this here now, when I rip pages from a book, to me, they then become ephemera as well. Same with book covers. once they're taken away from the book they belong to, they then become ephemera to me. This is a book cover. This was a letter that was sent to my grandmother years and years and years ago, detailing the purchase scheme for her house. It came from the county council. Wasn't meant to be kept or used in any way. Ephemera. Okay, so we have original ephemera, and then because we can't always get our hands on the kind of original ephemera that we want to use in our journals, we have digital ephemera. Now, digital ephemera, for me, and this is kind of the crux of what I'm trying to say, for me, digital ephemera serves the purpose of replacing the original ephemera, because I can't get my hands on the original ephemera. So originally, the digital ephemera was literally people scanning pieces of ephemera and paper and things like that, and putting them up to be purchased and downloaded by someone like me who wants to get ephemera for their journals. I love, love, love original ephemera, but digitalized ephemera works just as well for me, personally. Then we have kind of ephemera that is not, it's designed to be ephemera. So we will go and we'll design tags and journaling cards and things like that. They're all considered to be ephemera. So lots and lots of different kinds of ephemera, I guess, is where I'm coming from with that. But it has struck me that personally I want in my journals to have pretty much, not all necessarily original ephemera, but original type ephemera. So I mean original ephemera or scanned ephemera. That doesn't mean that I don't want to use the other kinds of ephemera, and you will see I have done that. But for the likes of tags and things like that, let's say something like this. Okay, this is it's a facsimile of an original tag, an original. This looks more like a time card tag or something, but they were originally shipping tags or layaway tags and things like that. And while I enjoy something like this, which is just a piece of a collage masterboard cut into a tag shape, I really want to, I'd much prefer to be using the original style tags. Does that make sense? It's not that I won't ever use these and I don't enjoy using them, but I want to make sure that I'm including more of the original style ones. Okay. So I have gone and I have, for myself, in this instance, scanned in some ephemera that I have in my personal collection, and these are all Irish pieces of ephemera. I scanned them in because I wanted to use them in this journal. So the whole point of me talking to you about this is to say that, I mean, look at this, okay? This looks like it could be an original piece of ephemera because I've printed it on newsprint paper. This one was also something I scanned and printed on newsprint paper. I mean, that looks like a piece of a newspaper, does it not? Okay. This I printed on some layout paper. It's a very, very thin paper. It is white, but the ink comes through and it really makes it look a lot more original. So the whole point of me talking to you about ephemera today really was to say, play around with the ephemera that you download and things like that. And I'm saying even the designed ephemera, not just the scanned in ephemera. Even with the designed ephemera, try printing on different papers and see the different effects that you get with it. These turned out absolutely amazing. I am so chuffed with them. And I had actually gotten this newsprint paper a long time ago to use with my laser printer, and it really didn't want to do it on it. It didn't want to work on it at all. So I was very disappointed and then very, very happy when I could use it with my inkjet printer. So play around with your paper, different papers. Play around with different settings on your printer as well, because quite often doing it on a duller setting might actually make it look more authentic. So yeah, just a couple of thoughts for you guys on ephemera today. Alright, so let's get on with this piece. So we have two pieces here. Yes, one is wider than the other. That's not going to make a difference in the end. So the next thing I want to do, I want to mark where this piece is going to fall. And I'm going to mark it on my narrower one. I'm just getting it evenly spaced around the whole thing. Now, as you've noticed, I've left a little border on around the edge of this when I was cutting it out. So I'm just going to bring my pencil mark up to here. Bring my pencil mark up to here, and same on the bottom. So just center it again. Gonna bring it across this way a little, and I'm gonna bring my pencil mark out to here. Okay, I'm gonna get my ruler. I'm gonna join up all my pencil marks. I'm going to put my window back in place just to make sure that we have that correct, and it looks pretty good, but this bottom line needs to come up. Oh. Yeah, this bottom line needs to come up about 1/16 of an inch or thereabouts. So let's redraw that one. Check it again. That looks pretty good. So we can go about getting this piece cut out of here. I'm just going to use my ruler and my knife to do that. And as always, when I'm doing something like this, I will go to the very corners of where I'm cutting, and I will just press my knife along the line like so, okay? And I will do that along both lines. So at the corners where all the lines meet, I will just press my knife in there, and that will give me a guide to stopping. When I have the ruler up against it, I'll be able to feel those little perforations, and I'll know that I have to stop. Okay, so we got our ruler against our line. I can use that little perforation as a starting place so that I'll know that I'm starting from the right point. And I'm just going to situate my knife in that little notch and draw it along my line until I can feel it coming to the next notch. And you really can feel it. If you take your time in particular, you'll feel it. Okay. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Voila, we have the frame. Does it work? It does, just like so. Perfect. So I'm going to use this one as a template for my other one. Get that cut out, and I'll be back to you guys. Okay, so we have our frames done, and yeah, I know that this one isn't properly cut. We can do that afterwards. That is totally fine. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I am going to get some double-sided tape on my window. On both sides actually. So just going to go slightly outside where my lines are, like so. And all the way around with this. Okay, so I have my double-sided tape on both sides. Hooray! And I am going to peel it off of one side. Or, sorry, peel the backing from it on one side. Being a bit frugal with my sentence today, aren't I? Or with my words. There is that. Okay, so next thing is I'm just going to get this, actually, no, stop. I'm going to get this inked. Okay, now I'm going to get this situated, And guys, I am going to pull this down towards me. You won't actually be able to see it, but all I'm doing is I'm just lining up my frame to where I wanted it to sit on my window piece. Okay, I just need to pull it down a little bit closer to me so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I've also done a little repair work. This is not intended to be perfect. So you see where I had that patch in the blue in the ink where the water had got at it? I just went over that with a Sharpie and smudged out a little with my finger. Like I said, it is not perfect. It is not intended to be perfect, but it does the job. It works. Okay, so I'm going to go and actually I want to trim. Should probably have done that beforehand. I'm going to try and trim the acetate down to the edges of the tape. So if you're doing one of these or something similar to this, get your tape on around your edges and then trim your acetate up to the edges of your tape. That way you'll be able to seal your paper pieces together at the edges so that it won't then come apart. Okay? Okay, so get the tape peeled off of this one. And get this one lined up. Okay, so the second part went on relatively easy. Hopefully it'll look okay. And the next thing I'm going to do now is get it trimmed out. So you can see it makes no difference whether the two pieces match or not. It's all can be tidied up afterwards. So I'm going to measure 1/2 inch to every side. Okay, so I'm just taking my window down to my 1/2 inch mark on my board, close it down and slice across, and I'm going to do that on all 4 sides so they will be nice and even. And of course, what I neglected to do after all my talk about it, I should have glued the paper together. Oh, I'm such an idiot sometimes. Okay, so we have nice even edges all the way around. And because I didn't put the glue in, I'm going to go around and get some glue in between all those edges and get them glued together, okay? Okay. That's that done. Next thing to get it inked on the edge. Oh, and by the way, I got some new ink daubers, and I also got some Happy Mail. So this package came from Linda McCarthy. Now, Linda lives in the north of Ireland, and she has sent me some bits and pieces before. She is awesome. She's just awesome. Look at what she sent me, guys. Look at the stack. Oh my goodness. I am just so blown away and so chuffed. So she also sent me some book pages. These are written in that beautiful German type font. And I think it's written in German. Not sure if the language is actually German. It does look like German. You see? Beautiful aged pages, absolutely gorgeous stuff. So Linda, thank you so much for those. She also sent me these amazing paper bags. I mean, look at these things. They are fabulous. I cannot, I just can't. Oh my goodness. These are stunning, absolutely, and they all appear to be different as well. The pattern probably runs quite large. So they do appear to be different. The same images do appear but in different places, kind of thing. Oh, they're fabulous. I love them. Linda, thank you so much. And then she sent me all this stack of paper and she has them all labelled for me. I mean, how sweet is that? So we have a stack of coffee dye papers. Oh my goodness. And there's all sorts of different kind of patterning and different papers in there. Absolutely fabulous. Oh, I love it. I love it. 2 pages of that. Very, very nice. So yeah, that's the coffee ones. Then we have some red cabbage dyed ones. Now Linda had sent me a few of these before. I love this stuff. I've never dyed with red cabbage before myself. But oh, these are just so scrummy. Look at the colour of that. It's just amazing. I love it. Fabulous. And then she sent me some beetroot dyed paper. I love this stuff too. She sent me a stack of this before as well, and I think I've used every single page of it. So very, very subtle pink tones coming out on that, and it's just gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. A whole big stack of that. I'm so chuffed. So chuffed. And then she sent me some that she had done with food colouring. This is so interesting, the colours that came out on these ones. I mean, they're just, it looks like watercolour. This is just stunning, like, just so different, you know. So I am very, very chuffed with those nice orangey tones coming through there. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And she also sent me some, oh, my paper clip went flying. I'm sure these were tea dyed. Yeah, tea dye papers as well. Ah, look at all the different tones that came up on those. Oh my goodness, they're just scrumptious. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of these at least have been dried in the oven. Ah, fabulous. I am just so chuffed, Linda. Thank you so much. But wait, there's more. Inside the package was also this little package. Look at how adorable this is. It is just wrapped so beautifully. Just the paper and the ribbon and some beautiful little PET stickers as well, floral stickers. But inside, Linda was watching one of my videos recently, I think. There was also some sponge daubers, replacement sponges for my daubers, because I had mentioned in one of my videos recently that I had no spare ones, so I think that's why she sent those. But she also sent that dauber itself. Ah, how fabulous. I've never seen these ones. This is absolutely amazing. It's gorgeous. It looks like maybe a handmade one, is it, Linda? Fabulous. So I get to have another dauber. Awesome. Like so. Ah, look at that. That is so cool. And really comfortable in your hand as well. I mean, I've never had an issue with these ones, but there is a big difference. Wow. I may end up having to get some more of those. We shall see. But yeah, I'm going to keep this paper as well. It is absolutely beautiful, and all the little stickers. Oh, I'm so chuffed. Linda, you are fabulous and amazing. And yes, there are some whole nuts coming your way. Myself and Linda have a little arrangement. She sends me goodies like tea stain paper, and I send her chocolate that she can't get up where she is. So, if I can get himself to stop eating it as I get it in for you, I will be sending you some chocolate, my love. Thank you so much. Okay, so this should be dry by now. Let us get our corners rounded. I'm going to use the 7mm round on this. Like so. Now, I have this piece in mind for a particular place in the journal. I'm hoping that it'll still fit. There was plenty of scope, but just that in itself, just as a window, is fabulous. Fabulous. Let us see. So I'm going through and doing my ephemera throughout the journal. So I was thinking that would fit nicely in there. Oh, it's just a tad too high, but that's okay. And then it pulls out as a window. Now I do need to clean that up a little bit. There's some bits of glue. I don't know how I got them on there, but there's some bits of glue after sticking themselves to it. But yeah, we'll get that sorted. Okay, so I do need to take a sliver, top and bottom. Now, so what I was saying about the glue on the window there, the mess of glue on the window, I can take a cloth and some water, and I can clean this side of the window no problem. It's just the side that has the coating on it, where the printing actually is. I can't go near that with water. So I'm hoping there's no glue on that side, it's all actually on this side. That looks an awful lot better, yeah. I think that might have been just on the one side, which is awesome. Another thing about this printable acetate is that it does seem to want to gather stuff on that that side, the rough side of it. So, you know, keep it kind of out of the areas of little bits of paper and dusty bits and things like that. Okay, so that is beautiful. Okay, so I have decided to go around the edges with this stamp. Now, I remembered that I have some gold ink. Ha 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 ha. Now, this isn't the best gold ink in the world, but it will do the job for what I want. So I'm just going to not worry whether this is perfect or not. I'm just going to get it on there, just as a little something extra. Okay, so it just gives it a nice little glimmer of something on the sides. Okay. Okay, I want to put an eyelet in this, in the top corner here, just like so. I don't know that I'll put anything through it, but I just want the eyelet up there. For now, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, I'm just going to pop that into my pocket. Oh, and it fits so perfectly. So perfectly. Okay, so that's that one done for that. Now, I do want to go ahead and make the other ones. What have I done with my pieces? Okay, so here's my other one of those. And I'm going to do pretty much the same thing for this, but with one or two little differences. One difference being that I've now worked out some of the kinks from doing the first one, so, you know, this is how we learn. So I'm using this paper again for this frame, but before I actually go cutting them out, I want to decorate the paper up a little bit, okay? Okay, so I want to put down some random pieces of paper, some random stamping. I don't want to cover this whole thing. I don't even want to cover nearly all of the whole thing. I want to just put patches of things here and there. So, let's start with some stamping, I think. For the script and the pattern, I'm going to use brown Archiva. This is a coffee. I'm just literally going to patch stamp all over, same as we would, you know, with anything. Literally just slapping it on there, okay? Not worrying about what's going where. This is going to get cut up anyway. I don't know what pieces are going to be surviving. So done with that stamp. We'll do a little bit of this one as well. And I'm concentrating quite a lot on the edges because most of the middle of this is going to get cut away anyway. So that's that. And I am going to try some of this with the gold. Oh, it's going to be pretty. It's just one more way to add gold without having to heat emboss. It just adds another dimension, I guess, rather than having it all looking the same. Different textures, things like that. So, let's get some of this on here. Again, not worrying too much about how perfect it is or not. So, next I am going to get some bits and pieces of paper. Now, I am going to do a technique. I'm sure I've shown you guys this before. I come across it on YouTube. I have no idea who it was, so I can't, and it pains me that I can't credit the person, but I can't credit the person because I can't remember who it was. So I'm going to get little bits of glue. Now you can do this with glue stick, and actually I'm going to do it with glue stick. It's so much easier. So that's a little bit of glue there. Gonna get a piece of paper and get that stuck down there. Gonna get my glue stick. Yoo-hoo! And I'm gonna get another one in here. Like so, just putting them down higgledy-piggledy. Not worrying too much, and I'm going to cover up all of that glue that I put down there. I'm gonna have another bit up here. And another bit down here. Gonna need more paper than I tore, but that's okay. We have plenty of it. A bit over here. And like I said, I'm concentrating on the edges simply because that is pretty much where I want this stuff, you know. Okay, gonna leave that dry. Be back to you guys very shortly. Okay, so I'm just checking to see if these are dry enough. They are not. They are. So what I'm doing is the bits of the paper where it's not stuck to the glue, I'm just grabbing it and pulling, okay? Now, sometimes it won't leave the text, other times it will. With this more fragile paper, the older paper, it will just break off and it'll leave all the text there. So I'm just kind of going to, oh look, it's taking all the text off on that. I don't think that's actually dry enough. I think I'm going to leave it for another little bit. Okay, while I'm letting that sit for another while, let me show you what I want to do with one of the other pieces at least. So, with this one, I want to do the same as I did here. So, there's a little tip in, and it's just something different over and back. And I'm going to put a similar one back here somewhere. Let's see where we want it, and I will show you how I have done it. Okay, so I kind of really like it over this page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim the top and the bottom right up to the actual piece of ephemera itself. And I'm going to leave that piece on the side. So we are going to, I'm taking my paper trimmer for this because I have a scorer on my paper trimmer. So I'm going to get that lined up right on the edge of that piece of ephemera. Close it down, and I'm going to score along there. And I'm going to score quite well. So then, oh, I have a little crease line that will go in between those. So I'm just going to fold that up and get it really, really creased, like so. Then I am going to slip it in between, kind of go in between those threads. So I'm just slipping it in between the pages, okay? That looks pretty cool there. Then I'm going to bring it back over to the other side of that page here, and I'm going to attach it here, okay? So all I'm going to use for that is some double-sided tape. You can get the tape on before you put it in there as well. So I did the last one. Take the tape off and press it into place. Okay, so then we have a tiny little tip in. That's just something different, you know. I love it. I love it. Okay, so that is that one. Now let's get back to our other piece and see if these bits are ready. Yeah, it's still not leaving as much of the text as I really wanted, but, and it's simply because I'm not leaving it dry long enough. Here comes my impatience calling again, eh? But, you know, I'm going to try and help it kind of stay there by putting my finger on where the glue is and just kind of tearing around it almost. Not tearing into it. Normally what you can do is just rip it straight off and it'll stay there, okay? For the sake of the video today, I'm rushing as usual. we'll make it work. Okay, so you get little bits like this left. So I'm tearing against the shape of it now, as opposed to tearing into it, in towards the centre. That was what you would normally do. So it is leaving some little bits of text, okay? And hopefully they will look really cool once we have this cut up. Thinner pages work best for this. I think I've just demonstrated that quite nicely without even meaning to. And I'm going to take my ink dauber and just get some ink over those whiter pieces in particular. Okay, now let's get it cut and see how it looks. It may look absolute pants, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm literally going to cut this in half for now. Like that. And once we get our window cut out, we'll have some patchy bits kind of on the edges, which I think will look pretty awesome. Okay, so going to go through the same process for this one as I did for the last one. I'll do that off camera so you guys don't have to watch again. Just going to mark my window and cut out the edges. Okay, so that is what we have so far. We have our frames. Gonna get our piece into place again the very same way I did the last time, with a little bit more finesse this time maybe. I don't know. Okay, so I am going to get my tape on, and then I'm going to trim to the edge of my tape, and then before I stick the two of these together I'm going to get my glue on first. Okay, I like it. It just adds a little something to that frame that you really can't get any other way. What do you guys think? Now, does it require anything else? Maybe. I haven't decided where I'm putting this in the journal yet. I just wanted to get it made up. So when it comes time to add it to the journal, I could end up sewing it. Actually, that's a really nice idea. I'm going to make a notebook with this. I'm going to get some pages cut to the exact same size, and I'm going to sew down the side and have this as the front of my notebook. Ha! I love it. That's going to be awesome. Okay, so there we have our notebook. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's fabulous. So yeah, really, really happy with that. I hadn't planned on doing a notebook with that, so that's very kind of cool. I'm just wondering, do I want some lace down the side of that? Like so. I'm not sure that I do, but it's an option. We could always do that, like a little spine binding. I am sorry for the glare on this, guys, but obviously there's not a whole lot I can do about that. So yeah, we could have it like that. But in the meantime, I do, however, want this tiny little shamrock up here in the corner. I think that just kind of sets it off nicely. When I decide where I'm putting that in the journal, I may add to it, but for now I'm calling that done. And I'm also calling this video done. Do hit like and hit subscribe, guys, if you haven't already done so. Also, leaving me a comment would be brilliant. Most of you are very good to leave me comments anyway. You're fantastic. And it really makes my day when I see comments popping up. I don't always get to answer them straight away, but I do try to answer them all the time. So yeah, that's it for me for today, guys. I'll talk to you all very, very soon in the next video. Bye!